So the other thing I was going to ask about is provocative therapy around the world. You know, there are certainly certain people who've held the standard for provocative therapy and promoted it and use it in their own practice and trainings. And thought it'd be good to talk a little bit about how it's spread in that respect and who's out there. Basically.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's amazing. My mind goes back to the first time we saw Carl Rogers, and he was talking about how, well, you do a little work and you write a little, whatever, an article and so. And he said it's really kind of amazing how the word gets out and people pick up on it and discover it and stuff like this. And he was talking to Frank Hughes, a buddy of mine, Magnus Singh, because it sounds Chinese, but he's Midwestern. Anyway, and then myself, and we had read his book, or Frank had, and then he told us about it, so we read it. It's in the first chapter of my book, in the beginnings of Provocative Therapy. At any rate, the word has gotten out. A buddy of mine this past year said, Frank, go to Google and type in provocative therapy. I said, for what? He said, just do it. I said, but what's the reason for this? He said, Frank, do it. I said, okay, all right, so I did it. And there was something like 610,000, something like that. And I was embarrassed. I told him, I'm embarrassed. God. Well, he said, all right. He said, now type in your name. Well, there were only, I think, something like 120,000 or something like that. And I said, what is this? And he said, it's Google. I mean, go find this, go find that. And he said, the word's getting out. I was in Australia 8 times, and June was with me 7 times. At any rate, we were flying over from San Francisco to Phoenix or to Sydney, and it's 13 hours. It was at that time it was one of the longest commercial airline flight in the world. And she was kind of stirring in her airplane seat like this. And I said, you wanted to travel? And she said, not this much. Yeah. So we've done a lot of traveling and a lot of workshops and a lot of different lands. And on this trip that I'm just finishing up with the next one in Cologne, it started off with the thing in Almaty, Kazakhstan. I never heard it. I didn't know where Kazakhstan was. I said, oh, I remember. In the geography, in the 4th grade geography book, it's orange. Most things were orange then. At any rate, and Almaty, At any rate, it's a city of 1.5 million people, And people said, fine, are all the women wear these veils, kind of stuff like that? I said, I don't know. Well, I didn't see. Saw very few of them, as a matter of fact. Less than I would in Chicago. But so and they were very receptive and very keen, as the Brits say. Yes. And so we had a 2-day kind of thing, and people said, are you going back there? I said, I don't know. I go where the people and the money and God call me. I suspect, depending on the response that we got there, that I may be going back to Kazakhstan. In Russia, I was in Moscow 6 times doing workshops there, St. Petersburg twice, etc. So it's Australia, New Zealand, and with the Philippines, Manila, did a workshop there, and people always wonder, well, are they? I was told when I first did a workshop here in Great Britain, they said you can't say this, talk this way in front of the Brits, and so I said, why not? They said, well, because they're very polite, and they would really become censorious of you if you were to talk your usual. So what I did was when I got to Oxford, the town of to do my first workshop some years ago, and Dr. Graham Dawes wrote a review of that for the London Ericksonian Hypnosis Society, and it's on my website kind of thing. And he said, provocative therapy is sophisticated simplicity. In one sentence, I'm fond of that description. At any rate, what I did was I would say, and I'm a wild colonial boy, back from the colonies to pay me respects to British founders and stuff. And I almost cussed about 10 to 15 times, but it caught myself just in time. And the next day, there were a bunch of people in the audience cussing like stevedores. At any rate, it was funny, and I just loved it. And I could make references to whatever, and I didn't have to give this is from the fourth act of King Lear, etc. Any rate, it was so they're kind of all over the place around the United States, in Canada, and Finland. Okay, I did a workshop in Finland. Somebody said, how'd that do? I said, I don't know. I didn't know whether they were all, there was cryogenics was at work or something, and they just couldn't respond. But at the last half of the second, or it was the third day workshop, 3-day workshop, I forget. But at any rate, they started to have faint smiles on their faces. And one woman from Finland, who's the Finnish ice princess, Satu is her first name. She said, yeah, in Vienna, she's a girlfriend of a buddy of mine, one of my organizers in Vienna. She said, when a Finnish man is, when he's talking, or you're talking with him, he'll just look at the tips of his shoes and stuff like that. Now, if he's becomes very outgoing, then he looks at the tips of your shoes. Oh, hey, wow, that's approach behavior, shoe tip to shoe tip. Yeah. So people had different reactions all over the different places and stuff like that. But I've done a number here in Great Britain over the years, and Ireland. I was having dinner the night before the workshop with Declan Roche, R-O-C-H-E, Roche. Mm-hmm. And he said, okay, Frank, so how are you? I said, I'm feeling great. I said, I wanted to, for a number of years, I wanted to do a workshop in Ireland before I died. And now, here I am, I'm ready to die. And he said, not until after the workshop. Declan, wherever you are, laddie, thank you for that comment.